Good morning, everybody. We are back. It is the right side of campus. We are live on a Monday, April 16th, 2018. I'm your host, the big man on campus, getting you ready here for another week. We're back on a Monday, like I said, rainy Monday here on the East Coast, rainy and raw and cold. Not a typical spring day, but we got a lot to talk about. NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball. Also, all sorts of things we'll get to a little bit later with some previews. Donnie Rightside, how you doing today?
Doing good. Rested, refreshed, and ready, Jeff, for the new week here. Got some good stuff going on. NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball. Same things to talk about to carry us right through. I like the playoff run, Jeff. A lot of fun to watch. You got games constantly on TV. That actually means something. So I'm excited, ready to go, Jeff. You're right. A really rainy day up here on the East Coast after a cold day yesterday. A lot of cancellations we'll get into throughout Major League Baseball. But let's get the show started, Jeff. Let's have some fun today.
Listen into the show. Obviously, we appreciate you always doing that. Also, hit the like button. Make sure you're doing that. That's always a staple of the show. Make sure you're doing that. If you're on Twitter, to retweet it. If you're new to the channel, we welcome you. Subscribe and hope you enjoy the content here at SBR Forum. This show is the right side of campus. We break down all the stuff that has happened. We talk about things that will happen. And Donnie, it's not romper room here, as we say. We do what we have to do, and we try to include the listeners as well. We'll go at the listeners; they'll go at us. We try to have fun here on the show. Donnie, let's get into it here. Morning headlines. First things first. We started out with a little college hoops. Rick Pitino, in the running, maybe might be interested in a job at Siena. Look, Rick Pitino is a good coach. No one will disagree with you. He's done a lot of great things in basketball, particularly at the college level. The problem is he always has too many things hanging over his head. Um, Listen, does it make sense for Siena? Sure. I mean, you mentioned Siena every time you talk about Rick Pitino. Does it make sense from a coaching standpoint? Probably not. I don't see how it does. I mean, Rick Pitino belongs at a bigger program, maybe belongs in the NBA. But again, I want to say he is from the New York area, Donnie. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I have to look that up. But I know he's involved with the horses. I've read that he does frequent Saratoga, which isn't far away. And Donnie, Rick Pitino is from New York. I believe he's from Long Island. He lived on Long Island. I mean, he played at UMass, so he's from that Northeast area. Uh, does it make sense for Siena? Of course it does. For him, I'm not sure that it does. But again, if you want to coach, you got to start where you get hired, and that might be the bottom of the barrel at this point, Donnie.
Yeah, go. I mean, go away. Is there any time that you could just tell somebody to go away, Jeff? I mean, you were in the NBA coaching, you were at Kentucky coaching, you're at Louisville coaching. Somehow you tried to throw all your weight and your muscle into trying to get that Rhode Island job. They didn't even look at you. And now you're back saying some Jimmy Patsos has shown the door. I want to coach Siena in front of like 2,000 people. Rick, just go home. It's okay. Like hang out on the AAU circuit, be a consultant to somebody. What is the point of him at his age, Jeff, going to Siena? Is he going to go to Siena and coach for 4 years and try to rehab his image and then go get a job when he's 90 somewhere? I understand he loves basketball. He's a basketball lifer. But there's a time when you do more harm to your schools than actually help. And what is he going to do at Siena? The point of him going to Siena is what? I don't know. I just thought it was hilarious that I now see him saying, I don't even know if he's linked, Jeff. This just sounds like his guys out there just putting it to word like, boy, he would love to coach Siena. Why would he love to coach Siena? Come on.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. But again, I think he should get back to the NBA. I think he'd do pretty well there. As far as at the college level, look, there's just too much hanging over him. Honestly, we keep it going here. Darryl Worley. Many people might not know who Darryl Worley is. The only reason we know who he is because he was with the Philadelphia Eagles for a month. And honestly, you know what, Donnie, I'm a little bit irritated with this guy because I thought this is a pretty good move. I mean, you get rid of Torrey Smith, a guy that, for the record, didn't have a great season. He dropped a lot of passes. You move away from him. You get back a pretty solid cornerback, a guy that's from Philadelphia. He went to a Penn charter, prep charter, one of those two. He went to West Virginia. He's from the area. And then you're kind of like, okay, cool. We have a nice corner now. We can deal with him. We add him into the depth. Maybe he can challenge for a starting spot. And then over the weekend he gets jammed up for being drunk and falling asleep in a car on Broad Street and had a gun on him. Then he got tased because he didn't want to comply. Just a complete mess. Darryl Worley had to be cut. Just kind of irritating, Donnie, that you waste time with this guy and he does this kind of stuff.
No, you're right about that. When you're looking at the whole Worley situation there, it was right. I mean, people look and say, "Oh boy, you really got shafted on that one." Little do people know, or if you don't know, Troy Smith was going to be cut by the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles made an upgrade getting Wallace at wide receiver as opposed to Torrey Holt. That was a nice move by the Eagles because you didn't have to shed any contract because you sent that $5-6 million contract down to Carolina without cutting him and taking the cap hit. What you took back is a guy with high upside, but definitely some character issues. What a way to put your best foot forward, Jeff, when you're going to your new team. Not even make it to OTAs yet before you're arrested on the side of the road with a gun in your front seat and like out cold. I mean, who knows what he was doing? Don't know if it was drugs or drinking, but not a good situation where the cops come up to your vehicle and you're so startled because you're so hammered or out of your mind in some way that you put up a fight and you end up getting tasered. Not the best look, Jeff, when you're probably already on your second or third strike in the NFL. I'm not so sure he's going to play again, but you never know. Maybe he goes to rehab, gets it right, and does a show me contract with somebody because the kid does have some talent, but sometimes the talent doesn't outweigh the knuckleheadedness that you might get out of the player.
I mean, this is kind of at this point irritating because I mean, you have Marcus Hayes, who's one of the worst reporters in Philadelphia Daily News history. Read an article today that Eagles shouldn't give up on Darryl Worley. Why the hell not? I mean, you're starting to see that with the Eagles. I mean, Michael Bennett's been a problem. Now, do I think he committed those crimes? No. I think he'll be obviously reprieved of them, but that's kind of hanging around. You have this. You're kind of losing, and now today is the first day for workouts, and you got to have this hanging over your head. This is just cut ties, get rid of them, move on. It sucks, but again, like you said, I mean, they were going to cut Smith anyway. Getting Worley was just kind of an addition again, I guess. But it is irritating because you waste time with the guy. What else do we have? Dez Bryant's gone. I think we talked about this Friday. Maybe we didn't. Dez Bryant gone from the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones made the right move. Look, I don't say that very often, but Dez Bryant just didn't work in Dallas anymore. You could see time and time again he was just kind of a. I guess he was just kind of annoying. I mean, he didn't. His performance on the field wasn't as good as it had been in the past. He was demanding the football. He was just always whining on the sidelines. Your thoughts, Donnie, on Dez Bryant, and where will he go next?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure where he's going to go next. It's kind of funny how Dallas actually did Dez Bryant really dirty instead of getting rid of him, around the league year time after the Super Bowl where you could go find a suitor and you can go out there and make the most money and, do all that stuff. Now most people already have their budget and their team plans are set heading into the draft. And now he gets released out there into the National Football League to see where he's going to end up going. It was a great move by Dallas overall. Coming forward from a team like, you had to make that change in the mid 2000s, early 2000s when Jerry Jones was running the team without any help, it seemed like, where he was the head GM, the head owner, the head scout, and weren't doing anything. They sort of shifted gears and started drafting offensive linemen, building it up. And I always remember the stories with Stephen Jones, the son, literally had to put Jerry in a headlock on draft day so they make the right choices, not picking guys like Johnny Manziel as opposed to picking up a really good offensive lineman. Same thing here. Make $16.5 million. You can't make $16.5 million, Jeff, if you're a headache on the sideline, B, a headache in the locker room, C, you're injured quite a bit, and D, you're going down that list of number one wide receivers with your stock falling and also obviously your yards falling, your touchdowns falling, and it seems like you can't catch anymore. It was a great move by Dallas. Reinvest in your offensive line, put some money into the defense, and for once maybe, Jason Garrett, if you are smart, you will run a running offense with one of the best running backs in the league with a solid offensive line instead of quote unquote trying to keep Dez involved before he implodes in the locker room because he doesn't have any catches. Great move by the Cowboys for the future. Now, where he lands, Jeff, is going to be pretty interesting. He said he wanted to go to the NFC East. Maybe the Washington, I mean, the Eagles have no room for him. The Giants have no room for him. Dallas obviously cut him. Maybe he goes for a look-see with the Washington Redskins, but I don't even know if they want that headache at this point. Maybe somewhere out west, like we talked about, like a 49ers might be a good landing spot. Maybe even a Seattle would be a decent landing spot. But most teams have their wide receivers core already set up. Do you want that headache coming into your
What about
locker
New
room thinking
England?
he's a number one when he's not?
What about New England? I was thinking New England, but I mean, you did go out and get Jordan Matthews, which again, I don't know. I mean, New England was interesting. Washington would be interesting. But you're right. I mean, the continued headaches of these guys is just kind of you don't really want to deal with it. But again, I mean, we've seen all these teams. By the way, Donnie, Hal Abrams, you can't be serious with your comments. Rick Pitino would never coach Siena, but if he did, they would become a national power. Best coach at all of all time. Yeah, dude. Shut up. First of all, Hal, maybe you need the definition of what to me a coach is. Okay, because maybe to you, a coach is someone that just wins games, and regardless of what he does off the court, he's a legend. And most college basketball fans are that way, unfortunately. To me, though, Donnie, I think we know a coach is not only someone that wins on the court, but wins off of it. He sets a prime example for the kids he's coaching. He betters them in their life. He betters themselves in his own life. He betters himself. He's not involved in constant issues off the court. Rick Pitino is a good coach. You won't get that sentiment out of me. Joe Paterno was too. Doesn't mean he's a good guy. Rick Pitino's a scumbag uh, freak, really. And I don't think he should be involved in young men's lives really going forward. He's a scumbag. And just because he's a good coach shouldn't mean that should be able to do whatever he wants. That's a ridiculous comment by you. You should know better than that. And no, he will not be the best coach, and they will not be a national power. It's Siena. We're not talking about Gonzaga. We're not talking about St. Mary's. We're talking about Siena here. And he's not the best coach of all time either, from a uh, player standpoint either. He's an okay coach. He's a good coach. He's not a top coach to me, Donnie. I like him. He's not the best. What do you think?
No, I mean, Rick Pitino's a good coach, but we all laugh. Like when you know how when you're at the end of your string, Jeff, where you no longer can set foot in a player's home and say, why don't you come
Right.
play for me?
Right.
We're going to win national championships. Now all of a sudden you have to offer, 30, 40, 50, 60,000. I don't know if Siena has that much money. And who are you going to get to come up to Siena? Hey, I'm going to walk into a top 25 recruit's home. You know what would be the perfect spot for you, my man? Let's go up to Siena where nothing's around here, mid-state, upstate New York. You're going to play in the Metro Atlantic. And the kid goes, yeah, I'd rather go to Duke or something like that. Thanks, Rick.
Oh, by the way, yeah, we could bring you up to New York. You're not. You might think Siena's in the city. It's actually not. It's up in Albany. Oh, really? I thought it was like on Long Island. Oh no, it's actually up in Albany.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I mean, they couldn't keep Nico Claret there. What makes you think they're going to keep a high profile?
Yeah,
I mean,
Patsos messed that all up there. It's a shame because Siena's a good basketball team for the Metro Atlantic, but it just doesn't even sound feasible. And why would a coach who's been to the platform and been high up on the platform, 5-star everything, saying, you know what, I'm just going to go up to Siena? Like, how's that going to work out? And why would a kid want to just go to Siena? Like Rick Pitino's coaching Siena. I don't. Maybe you know what? Maybe he does have the edge, Jeff, because he goes up there and goes, look. You thought we partied down in Louisville with all those spotlights on us. Wait to see what I can get away in the dorm rooms with you guys up here in Albany. Maybe that's a seller right there, Jeff.
I mean, not for nothing though. I mean, if you're a mid-major and they're not even a mid-major, they're a low mid-major. I mean, mid-majors can't even get good recruits. So what makes you think they're going to?
Yeah.
Again, listen. So you can basically go and play at Albany with Rick Pitino, or you could just go play at a really good school with a really good coach as well. I mean, why would you go and deal with that bullshit? Um, One other thing, Donnie, and this isn't necessarily a huge story just because of how they won or not, like we didn't think they would win, but it's how they were able to clinch. Manchester City clinches the Premier League, Donnie, with 6 games to go. The problem is the way they did it. They won on Saturday, beat Tottenham. Nice win for City. They win 3-1. But Donnie, what they needed yesterday was the worst team in the Premier League, West Bromwich Albion, a team that had won 3 games all season. Now, keep in mind, the Premier League starts in August. Okay, they won 3 matches all season. They're going down. They're going to the championship. They're not going to stay up. They needed them to beat Manchester United, the second best team on the road. So you're thinking, there's no way that's going to happen. City's going to have to wait another week. Not so fast. West Bromwich Albion gets a goal. They beat United. Manchester City are the champions. Donnie, how about that? The worst team in the Premier League, and they beat United, and Manchester City are Premier League champions. How about that? Their coach, Pep Guardiola, probably the best coach in the world. He's won now 3 championships with 3 of the top 5 leagues. So he's done a great job. Fantastic. Donnie, it's kind of like, a 16 beating a 1. West Bromwich Albion beats Manchester United. How do you feel about that?
No, yeah, there's a couple things the EPL that you like the way they have it set up. I think relegation is one of the most fantastic things
Yeah.
you can ever put on this earth, and I have no idea how they even got people to agree to it. Maybe the EPL, front ownership or leadership or front office is that important there where they say what goes, but relegation is unbelievable to force you to A, spend money, and B, be competitive unless you get dropped down, and millions upon Jeff, hundreds of millions are at stake when you get
Yes.
relegated because of how popular the EPL is. The thing I don't like about the EPL though, Jeff, is that there's like just a regular season. Like there's no playoffs. There's no, like, I don't follow Champions League, but I know that you get like a home and home, and you follow through, and there's actually like brackets and there's championships. Why doesn't the
Well,
EPL
Donnie,
do that, Jeff, and just has a regular season?
because this is why European football is better than any other sport. I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, you mentioned relegation. It's beautiful. It's awesome. We do not over here in this country. We basically say if you're a bad team, we're not going to only keep you up here. We're going to let you get better. They don't do that over there. If you're not good, see you later. Second of all, we're not going to put bad teams in the playoffs. You don't play well, see ya. That's all we need to see from you. We don't need to see you in a playoff standpoint. Like Donnie, do you agree that if you play well, and I'm not even saying well, like you're the 8th seed in the East. Should you really be in the playoffs? I mean, there should be a top 4, top 6. I don't know. As far as 8 teams, it's just sometimes too many. There's conference tournaments in college basketball. They literally let everyone play in it. Why? Why should they get playoffs? I mean, they didn't play well all season. Why should they? Why should we waste more money on them? I guess over there they basically just think, you know what? We're going to cater to the big teams. That's what people want to see. That's what the money's made. No one watches, Donnie, the first couple of weeks of the Europa League. Europa League, they put literally everyone and everyone in it. They put little, teams that will never make it, and no one watches that. People watch big teams. They want to see big teams. It's a good question. It would probably be pretty interesting, but I'm preferring the sports that allow for no. We don't want bad teams. If you don't play well, you're out. See you later. And generally, you'll get relegated if you play bad. Also, Donnie, ask me this: why is football in America called football? Can you explain that to me?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
There's no connection at all to feet, really, other than kicking the ball to the field goals and punts.
Yeah,
Why do we call it?
what would it be called? Like, I don't even know what you would even, because you're so used to calling it football. Like, what would you just call it? Like tackle? Like, what would be the
Handball?
name of the professional football league?
Handball, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a good
I
point
mean,
because
use your hands
we're
for
just used to
most.
calling it football. Yeah, like I don't even know under like at least basketball. Like you use a basketball. I guess in the NFL you use a football, but why is it called a football? You know what I mean? It's really weird.
Yeah, no, I've always wondered that. Why is football called a football? The 3 things I wonder most about, Donnie. Why is football in America called football?
Hmm.
Why is John Carlos Stanton have an Italian saying when he hits a home run? And C, what does T-shirt mean? What does a T in T-shirt mean?
Yeah.
What's the T part for?
I don't know. Maybe it looks like a T. Like when you actually look at the T-shirt laid out, like it sort of makes like a got the fat middle, and then the arms come
Yeah,
out, so it's like a
I
fat
guess.
T. I guess.
Good point.
Yeah.
Somewhat. Um, yeah, I wonder stuff like that. Let's move on, Donnie, to the NBA. Recapping what was a fun weekend in the National Basketball Association. Um, we start out with the Philadelphia 76ers. They win big over the weekend in South Philly. Another game tonight. Donnie, you know what's amazing about the Sixers? Yeah, not only are they doing all this without their boy Joel Embiid, but they're doing it with, and they're kind of spursing it up a little bit. Have you seen,
Yeah.
Donnie, the flavor internationally on this team? Okay, you have a guy from Australia, you have a guy from Turkey, you have a guy from Croatia, you have a guy from Italy. I mean, you have a guy from France, you have a guy from Cameroon. Don, have you seen this? Amazing.
Hmm.
International flavor. We're starting to look like the Spurs, and I got to tell you, over the weekend, a couple things that I wanted to point out. First of which, that was the loudest I've heard that stadium in 15 plus years. I mean, that was deafening in there, and it was fantastic. Second of all, Hassan Whiteside is absolutely useless in this series, and he's not going to
Yeah.
be a factor. You can honestly say, Donnie, at this point, I don't know if the Miami Heat will win a game just because I just don't think they can match up with the Sixers.
Yeah.
Hassan Whiteside can't play in transition, and the Sixers speeded
Mm.
up. That was fantastic. Brett Brown was great as far as moves were made. Bringing in Ilyasova, I mean, these moves that they made mid-season with Ilyasova and Bellinelli, I mean, they have been absolutely fantastic. They've gotten able to get by with, Amir Johnson, who I thought played pretty good defensively over the weekend. They got to obviously clean it up with Kelly Olynyk, who had a big game. And listen, if I'm the Sixers, honestly, Donnie, I don't rush Joel Embiid back, because here's the problem you're going to have. Kelly Olynyk is a dirty player, I guess, at some point. He's not afraid to throw elbows. Joel Embiid could have some issues there with him. I don't know if you rush it back. Maybe 3 or 4 you play him in. I don't know. But overall, this is a fun team to watch. 17 straight, impressive. And I don't know it's going to get any easier for the Miami Heat. Hassan Whiteside just isn't really a factor right now in this series, and I'm not sure he will be.
Nah, Sixers play too fast at this point. It's a lot of fun. And you know what the best part about that watching the game Saturday was, Jeff? Sixers come out hot, but then the Heat take over and get that double-digit lead. And I couldn't wait to get on Twitter because you know what you saw out there, Jeff? I told you those rookie nerves would set in. The Heat are such a bad matchup for the Sixers. Once the second half kicked off and you see what the Sixers are really about, when the shots start to fall down and the momentum swings, the Sixers are a good team. And sometimes, Jeff, you have to sit back and scratch yourself and be like, hey, Sixers, they're a lot of fun to watch, Jeff. They've won 17 straight basketball games, which is outrageous to begin with. And most of them, Jeff, by double digit or blowout fashion. Home games versus the Sixers, they trounce you from the beginning. What, the only game that came back and got even close was the Cleveland game, which they were up 30 or 35 points at one point anyway. It just seems like the Sixers at any given moment on a home game, Jeff, will run out a lead of 30-plus points and coast to a victory. I don't know what happens with Joel Embiid, but if I'm the Sixers right now, he's got soft bones. I don't bring him back until the Sixers lose a game. Let him rest, let him heal up, let him get completely healthy before he comes back. But it's funny because arguably your best player is not even participating, and the Sixers continue to run teams right off the court.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I don't think we're worthy of Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is, I mean, listen, he's going to be the best player in the league in a couple years. I mean, it's not even going to be close. He does things to basketball that I've never seen. I mean, I haven't seen in a while. You look at those physically dominating players, Donnie. There's not a lot anymore in sports. You look around the NBA: LeBron, Russell Westbrook, James Harden. I put Ben Simmons into those categories quickly, Donnie. I mean, he does things that are just physically dominating. The normal NBA player can't stop it. And he's done it this quickly. He's amazing. Um, so yeah, we'll look forward to tonight. Obviously, going to be fun. I mean, you look at the number; it's 7.5. I don't really foresee any reason to think that it's not any different from the first game. Are they going to win by 29? No, probably not. But I mean, this is what the Sixers just do at this point. They're really good offensively, and defensively, they were really good in the second half. I thought they played fantastic, made some of the right adjustments. Steve Yao, good question here. Why is the World Series called the World Series when there's no country involved? That great point. My guess is just because you crown the world champion, but I'm not really sure why we care, because no one else plays baseball really in the world other than I mean, I guess certain parts of Asia and Latin America. That's a good point. I don't know why it's called the World Series. That's very interesting. Do you have an answer on that, Donnie?
I would probably say, way back in the day where you just, back before there was TV and every game was on TV, you had to do a little Barnum and Bailey type stuff. So if you're going to crown a victor, why not just put it like, what's the biggest name we can come up with? World champions. Yep, absolutely. Whoever makes it to the end of the baseball season, you will be a world champion. It probably just sounded better. And then getting back to the point, Major League Baseball has been around for a long time. What country in 1910, 1905 was playing baseball at a professional? I don't maybe Cuba. I don't even know if Cuba was, but certainly Asia and Europe weren't doing so. So I just thought they thought maybe the biggest moniker that they can get, Jeff, World Series. It just sounds better than United States Continental Champions. You know what I mean? Something like that. Just sounds bigger.
Good point. The Cavs looked terrible yesterday. Scored only 80 points. They were shredded defensively. Oladipo had a huge game. Um, Donnie, I got to ask you something quickly as we kind of throw something in here because I kind of relate this
Yeah.
to my point here. What are your thoughts on this show, Get Up on ESPN?
I actually haven't watched that much of it, but and you know what's funny about this, Jeff? I don't know if anybody else does this. I dislike ESPN outside the gaming so much with 99% of the program that I found myself one night, Jeff, because I usually go to bed with ESPN because they have an NBA game on. They have, Scott
Right.
Van Pelt on late at night. I actually changed the channel off 850 to like 851 or 852 just so I can avoid Get Out in the morning, Jeff, so they don't even get like a rating from my TV. That's what I do to ESPN now, just to start laughing. But it doesn't, the whole concept doesn't make sense. Can you imagine, Jeff, where you take the most popular radio show that you've ever had on ESPN, which was I a big fan of? No. But Greeny and Golick on Mike and Mike, they worked. They came on. They didn't give any harsh opinions, but that was their show that they did for like 15 years. Then they break it up and then force something right back down your throat. It's kind of interesting the way ESPN has evolved, but I don't understand where you could say Michelle Beadle, Jalen Rose, Greeny, we're going to make you a show. It didn't even make any sense. Like, you could put a way better panel on in the morning than that, can't you? Like, can you imagine three of people that least deserving to be on a show together to meld than that crew right there? You could have done 50,000 different people in there that would have worked better than what they have right now.
I actually got to tell you, I actually like the show other than Greenberg. I can't stand him. I
Yes.
don't get why he's on the show. The show actually would be pretty good, I think, without Greenberg. They force feed him down people's throats because I think at the end of the day they're scared to fire him. Probably, they don't want to get rid of him.
If they
They
gave him a
want to keep.
ton, they gave him a ton of money, ton. Like, what was wrong with the concept that ESPN had, where they would just put on like a simulcast version of like a radio show that you listen in, like Dan Levitard, like that's a radio show that said, let's just put some cameras in here and do your regular show. The whole contrived talk show is what makes me laugh. Like during the day, you get a million of them that just come on the radio and what you do and what you see, or even on the TV. Like, I don't understand what was wrong with that concept, and just leave like Sports Center on.
Yeah, no, they've gotten away from sports there, but they were talking today about Donnie. They do this like hot take thing where they give out these
Yeah,
really bad hot takes, and one of the hot takes today was that the Caps get swept by Indiana.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, you can't be serious with this. I mean, so they have one bad game. And look, do I think the Cavs are a great team? No, I don't. I think particularly they're a pretty bad defensive team. And other than LeBron James, there's just not a lot to really like about this team. But they're not getting swept. They'll win a game or two. I don't think they're going to win this series, though. I've said that before, and I'll say it again. I think Indiana will beat the Cavs. But
Hmm.
yeah, I really just wanted to get your opinion on Get Up, Donnie. Or maybe I should call it Get
Yeah,
Out.
but then again, Jeff, from my point of view, there's very few things that I actually like in life, and I'm a hater to most. And why not? Get Up comes on, then you see they all make like $5 million a piece and all this nonsense. Then you just hate it even more. So that's just me putting on the hater hat mostly, Jeff.
Maybe they should call Craig Carton. He would be good. Maybe put him on
What,
the show.
Carton and Greeny in the morning? Yeah, right from the
No,
Chelsea Piers.
no, Carton, Beadle, and Jalen. That would be good. I feel like
Ah, yeah.
the new ESPN morning show with Golick and Wingo's even worse. Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't think it wouldn't be.
There's
I
so
mean,
yeah, there's like there's so many shows out there now. You can't even keep track of who went where or what went why. Scott Van Pelt, he's one of the few guys that stayed on and does the late night thing, which I like because as you're winding your day down, it's a great show to have on. But there used to be like Russillo, he's gone doing his own podcast. They got Will Kane in the afternoon. Like there's so many moving parts at ESPN. You don't even know who the show is, but
it's
Jeff,
funny,
also like
Donnie,
to bring up
because
starting today in Philadelphia, Mikey Misko's
yeah,
simulcast on
I
97.5. Yeah.
I saw, and I have to make sure I call in so I can get my name on TV. For sure.
Send him in a headshot too, Jeff. So when your name comes up, they put your picture on there.
I actually used to, Donnie. I used to call Missinelli a lot, and I would give him like random like games that I was on. Like I would call in and be like, "Hey, Mike, I got a game for you guys. All right, what do you?" Because he's a gambler. What do you got?
Yeah.
And I'd give him like Olympic basketball, and he was like he would like it. He actually was pretty fond of it for a while, but I got to start calling in again. I haven't called for a while, but yeah, if you think of ESPN, there are a lot of bad shows on there. Not only
Yeah.
on there, but on the radio as well. Dan Patrick, yeah, no, Dan Patrick's pretty bad also. But let's move on, Donnie. One more thing here. A lot of escaping yesterday. Celtics escape, Thunder escape, Rockets escape. It's playoff basketball, though. You got the best teams here. They're going to all give teams runs for their money. I'm surprised that the Rockets didn't, play better. But again, they won. Win and move on, as they say. Donnie, question I have: will the Rockets sweep Timberwolves?
I think so. I mean, if there's going to be one night to get them, Jeff, where the Rockets might be a little bit off their game, it would have been last night. When the Rockets get cooking, there's not much you can do. Clear talent disparity between the two teams. Better. And a lot of the times, Jeff, the number one seed sweeps the eighth seed. You see it a lot. So I'll go ahead and say yes, they do sweep. Because if last night was the night or the indicator where you might have been able to steal one, that was probably the night to do it.
Yeah, I totally agree. We move on to the NHL. We'll move that down here. NHL recap. The Pittsburgh Penguins, Donnie, grabbed the advantage. And I told you yesterday, I said to you, Donnie, after the fact, but either way,
Yeah, why didn't you hook me up,
the,
man? I
the,
wasn't even paying attention.
because I don't know shit about hockey and I'm not going to give picks out for it. But I'll say this. I mean, the Flyers had no chance yesterday. They were going to win one game, and they'd won it. The fact that there was a pick 'em where you could take the Pittsburgh Penguins to win. Listen, Pittsburgh's just way better than the Flyers. I mean, you could see it on the ice. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see it. Um, the Flyers, Donnie, I think are done at this point. I thought they were winning one game, and that was going to be it.
I think they'll get one more. I think they'll get the game four. They've actually played well in the first period for the most part. That game played well, but you can't just give up power plays and like odd man chances. The Penguins going to bury you. But you do got to shout out Jeff because I like to correlate the Pittsburgh Penguins process with the Philadelphia 76ers process. Both went down the same path, Jeff, and hopefully the Sixers process will be as fruitful as the tanking that the Penguins did to get all those players. So if there's like that gold standard, like we like to say in Philadelphia, where you say, you know what? I want to model my team after the Pittsburgh Penguins, the bankrupt franchise that was going to have to leave town, that miraculously tanked and miraculously got some of the best players to ever play the game in Malkin and Crosby. That's the way you're supposed to tank. It worked, and they're winning titles for it, Jeff.
Yeah, no, they have a great goaltender as well. Matt Murray, he's very good. Capitals lose again, Donnie, and this is becoming a playoff typical thing with or not Cleveland, Washington.
Yep.
They're up 1-0, 2-1 last night. Actually, I think they were up at one
3-1,
point,
I think, right? Yeah.
3-1. Yes, 3-1. They give up the lead. Then it's 4-3. Then they score and tie it with about 5 minutes to go, and they go to overtime and lose. Um, what is up with the Washington Capitals in the playoffs?
I don't know. Every year we say the same thing. They end up, one, two, or three top seeds. They head into the playoffs. They fail. Everybody in the press immediately says, you have to retool this team. You have to change this team. You have to get rid of Ovechkin. They come back, it seems like, with the same team every single year. And the same thing happens, Jeff. Joe Banner used to have a nice saying here in Philadelphia. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting the same result. That's the Washington Capitals. But to me, Jeff, as a Philadelphia fan, I get kind of a chuckle out of it because I can't even imagine having that talented of a team come up. So, and Jeff, we're not even talking about, damn, they're the Buffalo Bills. They made it 4 times to the Stanley Cup Finals. They just can't get over the hill, but they're kings of the East. Jeff, they get bounced round 1 and 2, left and right, as some of the best, most talented teams in the NHL. I just think it's pretty funny at this point.
Las Vegas Golden Knights win again, 3-0
Yeah.
series lead. They go into LA, get another win, and this one didn't look great for a while. The Kings really kind of held pat. They're up 1-0 the whole game. Then Vegas just goes on a tear in the third period. Kings add one late, which the goal late kind of sucked because if you had the total, you pushed, and a game you probably should have won. But the Golden Knights advance, or they're going to advance here, you would think, over the next game or two. They go to 3-0. Donnie, Las Vegas is hockeyed out right now. They're very excited about their Golden Knights, and I got to tell you, I am too. I have a future on them, 30-1 to win the Stanley Cup. I'm very much liking this outcome here with this series. Um, look, I don't know a ton about hockey, but I'll tell you this: the first goal that the Kings scored should not have happened. I mean, if you're quick, you have to be better than that. You can't allow goals like that. That really just kind of started the avalanche for the Kings. Kings are on the brink, Donnie, of elimination.
Yeah, I've always rooted for Vegas. I'm not sure how long term, and we'll see if it works. Vegas is going to be sustainable. We'll see if they go through those lean years. They're getting a nice bounce this year. Everybody's excited, but we've seen that bounce in a lot of cities out there. Florida Panthers, Arizona Coyotes, or whatever. We've seen that Phoenix Coyotes, whatever the hell they even call them now. We've seen that bounce, but I rooted for there, Jeff, for one specific reason, because the NFL is now coming to Las Vegas, and an NBA team is eventually going to come to Las Vegas. I don't even care, Jeff, if it even works out for them, as long as gambling gets passed nationally. Those teams can all fold up and leave Las Vegas, because at least we'll have our laws on the books that we can bet on sports. So kudos to Las Vegas for dropping their foot in the sand, so to speak, being out in the desert, anchoring in there, having a successful season, and saying, hey, look, in the gambling mecca of the world, we can have a professional sport, and our goalie hasn't tanked the game specifically because he took the over in a game at the Bellagio at 3:30 in the afternoon. It can work. Hallelujah, Jeff.
I'm just surprised that John Stevens is still around. I remember when he was in Philadelphia, he was
Yeah,
what a weird character he was. I mean,
yeah.
he just had no
Not
personality. I guess that
fiery.
was really
Yeah, not
yeah. He was
fiery.
just
That's
kind of
good.
like you would ask me like, well, I mean, we played well, I thought, but we didn't get the right bounces in the puck. I mean, in our zone, the organization was behind me, but I didn't get the job done. Here in Canada, we pride ourselves on good hockey. But hey, John, your wife. Well, I mean, I hope she's okay. I mean, it just never really like. No, there was never no emotion with John Stevens. Very odd
Yeah, and also,
character for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, getting the Flyers coaches, Jeff, typical that the whole, city loves Laviolette. They can him because the message all of a sudden doesn't get through. He just goes down to Nashville, and I don't know, maybe Nashville has a good hockey team now all of a sudden. But congratulations, Laviolette, one of our favorite coaches here in the city. But I guess just the message doesn't get through. You have to bounce good coaches out of here. That's what you get.
Yes, good point. We move on to baseball. An interesting
Mm,
weekend on the
yeah.
diamond. Actually, a non interesting weekend for a lot of teams. Weather was terrible. A lot of cancellations. You had what, six cancellations yesterday. You're gonna have a lot of makeup games here, and this further reinforces the point, Donnie, that you shouldn't be playing baseball in April. Why are we doing this? Why?
I
Why
don't-
do we force this on teams? It's not good. Half the time, you don't get a ton of games in anyway. The product's not good. This is like adding more games in the NFL. Just leave it the way it is. And I know I'm kind of being hypocritical because I want to change how it is in baseball, but do you really need the games in April, Donnie? Really?
No, no, zero. You don't need that. And I'm the most staunch supporter of that. And I get, well, we need the gate, we need the revenue. Well, sometimes it just doesn't make any sense. And again, most of the revenue, Jeff, comes from TV anyway. The NFL plays 16 games. Look at the revenue they have through their TV packages. Baseball would be the same. Stop being so short-sighted. Or Jeff, the numbers will never match up, and we'll never be able to hit our incentives by hitting 60 or 50 home runs. Who cares? Imagine if they started May 1st in baseball. Would anybody care? Have an extended spring training. Have them go through all the stuff down in Florida. Come up opening day, May 1st, good weather, because it's a sport, Jeff. Inherit on good weather. If the NBA was played outside, would they start their season January 1st? No, they would start in like June if it was played outside. Get it together, baseball. Come on.
The only problem that has is that if they started in May, we won't get Donnie's baseball plays until August. So,
Oh, you
again,
know what?
again,
Baseball. Good. Yes, I need baseball to actually start February now that you say, Jeff, because me making no money in the month of April, not good for the household here.
uh, but you look at the games that were played, the Phillies sweep. Good for them. Okay, you beat the Braves, the Rays, the Marlins,
Not even
and
the
I know.
Braves. Yeah.
Uh, okay, yeah, right. Not even the Braves. Some other shit team. The Reds. That's
Reds,
right.
Marlins,
So
Reds,
let's
Rays. We're on a roll, baby.
listen. Let me tell you something. All right, let's cool it with the Phillies for a little bit. I'm hearing in this town that they're going to the playoffs, and this could be a World Series team. Settle the fuck down. You're playing the fucking Reds, Rays,
Who
Mets,
said they
and
were a,
and you play them.
World Series team? Stop. Nobody said that.
Oh, I swear, this guy called in the other night on WIP and said that.
Well, I mean, he was probably
And
drinking.
keep in mind, the Mets are the only team they played that were any good, and they beat them. Listen, Donnie, I know it's 14 games into the season, but I'm going to tell you what I did last night. You know what I did?
Yes. Go.
I went on my book last night and I bet a max future on the Mets. The most I could bet, I bet it on the Mets at 15-1 to win the World Series. Now, if you know anything about locals, they don't let you bet a huge amount on futures. I think his future limit is $500.
Yeah, usually it is. Yep. Yep.
That's I'm telling you, the New York Mets, Donnie. I like this team a lot, man. I really like this team a lot. And again, we're only 14 games in, but you look at even just everything in the way that they're kind of going about things. And I know the fact that I'm talking about the division right now is kind of stupid, but Donnie, you have to try to get, you know, gains in April and May. And you look at already, okay, they're going to play the Nationals this week, first three games. They're going to avoid Scherzer and Strasburg. If you're the Mets and you could somehow sweep the Nationals, you'd already be 9 games up, Donnie, in the division. I mean, listen, this
Yeah.
team, I mean, I know it doesn't mean a ton. It's only April. I'm just saying, this team, the only thing they have to figure out is they have to go deeper in games. I mean, Syndergaard, DeGrom, all those guys, they have to go deeper because the bullpen is pitching way too much. But I'll tell you right now, this lineup looks really good. I think to go out and make a move or two around the deadline. They got to go out and maybe get a catcher, maybe a Luke Roy kind of player. But I'll tell you right now, the Nationals don't look good. The Dodgers don't look good. There's a lot of teams that are up and down right now. This Mets team looks real good, Donnie. But the Phillies get a sweep over the weekend. Hallelujah.
Yeah, yep, 6 in a row for the Phils. But yeah, I mean, we like the
Nine.
Mets. As long as the Mets stay healthy, but they're always that, DeGrom, Syndergaard injury away from just, floating away and selling off their players like they seem to do every single year at the trade deadline, just because the simple fact is they can't afford anybody. I'll see if they add on or do anything. But again, hey, if Bernie Madoff never came into New York, the Mets would have a high-priced, high-powered baseball team. So again, as a Philadelphia fan, I thank you, Bernie Madoff, for your service to the NL East.
Yeah, but they're still going to the World Series and they're doing things. So they'll be fine, Donnie. Let's not bring on Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff's dead and buried as far as we're concerned. Speaking of Donnie, dead and buried, Billions in my household. It's been dead and buried for about 2 weeks now. Um, are you
Yeah.
enjoying Billions?
Come on.
Is it
Love
living
it.
up to
Love
your
it.
dude? It's not good. It is not a good
I
show.
can't I can't get enough of it. The single twist between the dad and the son turning over right now with Ira and the DA from the South Side or whatever they call it there in New York City. The fact that they get off on
Southern
pounding on
District of
each other and taking away their funds each way. It's amazing. The show is just incredible. It's incredible all the way around. It's some of the best theater that I've been able to watch
don't
and enjoy every single week.
don't buy into this hype that's being sold by Rightside here. This show's not good. It's mindless, frankly. It's on the Entourage level. It's a good show. Entourage is even better, actually, because it's actually funny and
No
they're a good
way.
storyline.
Mm-mm.
Yes, you don't need to check out Billions, Austin. Save your time. Go watch a real show. First of all, also, I'm about done with polls and like lists on Twitter. I'm done with it. I'm done doing it. I've had it.
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm just not doing it anymore. I'm not doing polls or lists.
You're the one who does
I'll
it.
do
You love to do the list on Twitter. Why are you
I'll do
stopping
lists.
now?
I'll do lists on the show, but I'm not doing lists anymore. I'm just sick of I mean, people don't fucking listen. Like none of you fucking people listen. It's my list. I'm not telling you they're the best. I'm just giving my list. Quit fucking talking to me about Omar Little. Omar Little is not the best character on The Wire. Get the fuck out
He
of here with
might
that.
be.
No. A character is about the arc that they have throughout the show. It's where they start and where they finish. Omar Little was not an interesting character. He was a fucking robbing drug dealers. He got fucking killed. That's how it was. There was no arc with Omar Little. He didn't do anything interesting.
Omar
He wasn't
coming.
that good. People act like Omar Little is the best character. He's not. McNulty was a better character. Slim Charles was a better character. Marlo Stanfield was a better character. Proposition Joe was a better character. Listen, I'm a wire connoisseur, okay? There's nobody who knows about it more than me, okay? And Omar Little is not in my top 5. Sorry. Ari Gold was a better
Mm,
character.
mm, mm.
You know, um, there were characters in Oz that were. I mean, look, listen. Even my honorable mention Oz characters were better
Even
than
Tommy
Omar Little.
Carcetti, Jeff.
I don't know about Tommy Carcetti. Carcetti was pretty shitty, but and again, stop contacting me with Game of fucking Thrones. I don't watch that show, so I don't care about it. It's not on my list. I'm getting guys in my DM blowing me up because I don't have some Tyrone guy in my top 5. I don't watch Game of Thrones, man.
Yeah, I don't watch it either.
Steve Tafe, that's a blockable offense. Say that again and see what happens. That's a ridiculous statement. That's one of the stupidest statements I've ever seen on this show. I mean, there are some stupid ones. There's some great ones. That is Steve Tafe, the dumbest thing I've ever seen on this channel. Just a horrible opinion, a horrible take. And do I agree that everyone has their opinion? Yes. But Donnie, that might be the stupidest. Steve Tafe's comment there.
No.
Uh,
I think Steve Tafe knows you well enough that that comment would definitely get read on the air. So good move by you, Steve Tafe.
One other thing here. Bartolo Colon, Fountain of Youth. He took a no-hitter into the 8th. Did he get it, Donnie?
No, he did not get it. I don't even think he got the win. But a
Good.
nice dog comes home, Jeff, on the Sunday night there with Houston going down. So, hey, there you go. A lot of parlays got blown up, Jeff. A lot of run lines, -1.5. Hey, I'm sure people out there, Jeff, probably even teased it somehow in Major League Baseball and still lost that game.
We also have to, in this country, stop that people just go, oh, well, it's just my opinion. It's a stupid fucking opinion. Just like my opinions sometimes are stupid. Tell me if it's stupid. Saying a wire's overrated is the stupidest opinion I've ever heard. It's absolutely moronic. And you're only saying it to get a rise at it. You don't actually believe it.
They know you out there, Jeff. They know they can come in here and tell you something like that and then tell you just to be on with your day. Hey, Jeff, wire sucks. I'm out of here. Have a nice day. Catch you later.
I've never seen Steve Tafe until today. So I guess obviously that's definitely what he's doing. Dez goes to the Pats. I don't disagree with that.
No.
But you might be right. Yeah, but Texas catches in, Donnie. I think at 285. Nice little doggy dog there. They catch in. Let's get into tonight's breakdowns here. And again, Donnie. So let me ask you: you've seen Sopranos, The Wire, all these different shows. Where do you put Billions? You don't put Billions in like.
But it's hard. It's hard because it's too new right now. So I don't know where it ends up or where it goes. But you always have, because we'll always reach back and say we loved Allen Iverson, we love Dr. J. Well, I mean, you got Ben Simmons now, Joel Embiid. You have to let it marinate for a while. Like The Sopranos was marinating, Jeff, since 1999. The Wire, not too long after that. You can't really put those shows on a pedestal until they last the test of time, because you never knows what will come down the line. I didn't think I would like The Wire. One night I'm just watching it and I'm saying, you know what, this show is really good. Hung with it all the way through. But like those first 2 shows, Jeff, you got to let it marinate. You got to let Billions marinate for a couple years to see if it really was something that was supposed to be that good.
Yeah, I don't think it will ever get to that, but hey, maybe. I hope it continues to get better for you, Nani. I don't see where's the end game. I mean, the end game is Axelrod gets pinched and arrested, and that's it. I mean, what?
The end game is the same way just about every one of those.
I will say though, the one character is pretty good. Gail Bedeker's character, the Mike Wagg's character, he's pretty good. I actually like. Let's, Donnie, move into today's slate here. What do we have on the card? What is going on?
Yeah, let's rip it through quick here. 905, 906, Jeff. Philadelphia and Atlanta meeting up again here. Down in Atlanta again, Jeff. So keep on that southern swing. Maybe we'll get some decent weather down there. Who knows? Some thunderstorms might pop up. But that's going to be Nola and Fultonavich on the mound. 61% of those early tickets, Jeff, going towards the Philadelphia Phillies. Line sits between -125, -128 across the board. Over-under is 8. Nola, as we know, Jeff's had a really good start to the season overall through his 3 starts, 1.96 ERA. I believe it's Fultonavich today, right? Some of these things seem Tehran's going to be on the mound. Has that pitching
Tehran.
change been updated? Tehran's on the mound, so I don't have his numbers there, but we all saw Tehran last year with his numbers at home with Atlanta. We'll see if that continues in that trend this year. But an interesting setup here for the Philadelphia Phillies coming in hot, Jeff. Do they cool off in hot Atlanta like they did the first week of the season?
Well, I mean, yeah, because you look at the continued problems for Julio Tehran in that ballpark, Don. I mean, he just can't pitch in this ballpark.
Yeah.
I mean, he's pitched like 10 or so innings, 8 or so innings. He's given up 9 earned runs, Donnie. He just can't pitch in this ballpark. You get Aaron Nola at 125 ish. I mean, with the way the Phillies are playing, I think you got to jump on it. I mean, this has been a good matchup betting against Tehran at home. He just hasn't been able to get it figured out. Nola in his career, very good against the Braves, 8 starts, ERA under 2. He's been absolutely magnificent. I think this is a really good play on the board. Really just fading Tehran at home. He has not been good really since that park was created.
Hey, we'll take a look at the Astros Mariners, Jeff. 921, 922, 10-10 start out on the West Coast. That's going to be Keuchel and Paxton battle the lefties, Jeff. 42% are going to back up Paxton. I actually had a little bit of McDonald's money on Paxton the week before. He looked terrible. We'll see if he bounces back at home. Going to get Dallas Keuchel on the mound. Opened up, Jeff, minus 130 at both Pinnacle and at Chris. Those numbers have disappeared down to minus 110 and minus 113. So money coming in on the underdog Seattle Mariners in this matchup, Jeff.
Real quick, Randy Lockhart dropping a pretty interesting name, saying that Sopranos is a lot like Vinny Ocean's life. Vinny Ocean Palermo was the de facto boss of the Cavalcante crime family. Here's the difference, though. Vinny Ocean was a rat. You know, I'm not sure that it was a lot like Tony Soprano. I guess in the scheme of when he was in the mob, good point. And the Cavalcantes are a lot like, and they are the basis for the show. Just the end of his life is a little bit different, but good point, Lockhart. That's actually, I'm surprised you knew about that. That's good work by you. Yeah, as far as the Mariners here, Donnie, I had some real success with betting on the overs this weekend in that Oakland Athletics series.
Yeah.
This one's going to be a bit different. Obviously, people love Dallas Keuchel, and look, for good reason. Keuchel's a great pitcher, but he has not struggled out of the gate, but he hasn't went particularly deep in games, which is interesting. He's only went 9 innings over his last 2 starts. Paxton has not pitched well, though, Donnie. He had that first real tough start against Cleveland. He has since pitched a bit better. You're getting, obviously, a good lineup here, but I'm going to tell you right now, there is something wrong with Houston. Over the course, there's been some games where they just have looked wretched from the plate. Obviously, last night, a prime example. You look at over the last 7 games, only hitting about 220. You're getting the Astros at a decent time here. It might be an opportunity for Paxton to get his season going. He's got decent numbers in his career against Houston. But at this price, it's a pass for me. I'm not getting enough back here on Paxton. You're basically getting an even money price against the Astros. I'm not interested.
All right, Jeff, let's flip it over to the NBA slate. Have a minute or two here left in the show. 701, 702 is Tom McGinnis, the play-by-play radio guy for the Sixers, would say, get excited. Sixers open up, Jeff, across the board at 7. But hey, Jeff, the Sharks buy it down to 6.5. 31% of the money line wagers actually coming in on the Heat at this point, so not using the Sixers to tag them up in parlay action. Over under, Jeff, opens up at 216.5, 215 depending on where you're shopping. 215 it looks like pretty much across the board here. Hey, look, I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen it for 16, 17 straight games. I think the Sixers lost 1 time at home in the new year of 2018. I don't see why it stops short. If the Sixers win this basketball game, I'm going to assume again, Jeff, it's going to be by double digits. If I had my druthers, if I was an NBA gambler or capper, I would just lean on the Sixers until that train runs out.
Yeah, I agree totally. I mean, Donnie, and you look at home over the last 3 seasons. Give me a percentage, Donnie, on how many games you think the Sixers have covered over 121 game slate here. How many percentage of games?
I mean, yeah.
Covered?
I mean, not a lot of wins because they were a really bad basketball team, but just covering at home, you probably would say they're in the 60s, wouldn't you, Jeff?
Very close, 58% of the time.
Yeah,
They've been very good at home. I mean, this year they've been magnificent, 28-13. Yeah, I'm not jumping in front of the Sixers. I mean, Miami's really struggled defensively lately. Buying it down to 6.5 is even better. The Sixers are just better than Miami at really everything. The Sixers are a very good stat team as far as numbers are concerned. They're very good rebounding wise, very good defensively, great offensively. They're very high paced, and that's not what Miami wants to do. You saw that really in the second half. They struggled a ton with how quick the Sixers were. Hassan Whiteside can't be used. It's just a mess, really. For me, the Sixers here.
All right, we'll keep it moving down the list, Jeff. Only two NBA games on the slate. 10:30 p.m. start on the West Coast, 7:03, 7:04. That's going to be the Spurs and Warriors matchup. Warriors handled the Spurs easily. More word dropping down. Kawhi's out for the playoffs, so don't even go bother him. Pop's exploding in press conferences. He's being his old surly self. But I think that last ditch effort, Jeff, where they maybe thought they could possibly get Kawhi out, that flame has been extinguished here. I don't know what to expect out of San Antonio Spurs, but I don't expect that much good here. Looks like the game opens up at 9.5, stays at 9.5. Over under, Jeff, 205.5 currently at Chris.
Yeah, I don't have much on this one. It's hard to envision that the Spurs will be good in this game. You look at the last two games against San Antonio, and they're just not scoring points. You had to be able to score points to beat Golden State. Obviously, it's very rudimentary, but I don't have a ton in this game. I will say tomorrow I will discuss that Greg Popovich should be ashamed of himself the way he acts with the media. If that was any other coach, he
Yep.
would be he'd be
Yep.
reprimanded for it. Other than that, Donnie, we will wrap it up. Everyone have a great day. Hopefully, you enjoyed the show. A great mix of all sports. We talked hockey, we talked NBA, we talked MLB, we talked all sorts of fun stuff. Join us again Tuesday when we do it one more time. We'll be here 10 o'clock Eastern. Thanks to everyone at SBR for helping us out today. This has been the Right Side of Campus. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.